the Chinese mythology of the creation story. So I'll be talking about the creation story according to the Chinese mythologies, the creation of humanity, the creation of mankind. Because looking throughout all these different cultures and geographically different places, many of the mythologies talk about similar stuff. So it brings into question, is there any truth to all of these? Because they happen to be talking about very similar stuff. So, anyways, the Chinese mythology, you have the one, okay, from the start, called the Pangu, okay, and it follows like this. In the beginning, the universe was nothing but chaos, and the heavens and the earth were intermingled. And the allegory of this is Pangu being born inside an egg. Okay, that's what we known it as, the cosmic egg. So Pangu, right, was born inside of this egg and slept for 18,000 years, during which time the yin and yang, so the opposite, the duality, hot and cold, right, the balance grew as he grew. When he awoke, he realized he was trapped within it. He cracked the egg and began to push it apart, essentially splitting the yin and yang. The upper half of the shell became the sky above him, and the lower half became the earth. Now, with this saying of the sky, we know that the ancients like to call the heavens the sky. So this is where, when you hear the saying um, referred to as the sky, which internally means heavens as well. So the longer he held them apart, the thicker they grew and the taller he became, thus pushing them further apart by precisely 10 feet per day. Closing in to the 18,000 years, he became old and tired, and Pangu died, and it said that Earth's features came from Pangu's characteristics. His breath turned into the winds and clouds. His left eye became the sun, and the right became the moon. Pangu's limbs and head turned into the mountains. His muscles turned into fertile land. Pangu's thick facial hair became the stars. His voice became thunder, and from the parasites and fleas came to be the first human beings. So this is one of the myths of the creation story told by the Chinese about how humans came about. So now I want to talk about another myth about how humans came about, and this one draws many comparisons to other mythologies and other stories. And this is the story of Fuxi and Mother Goddess Nuwa, who in a better known mythology is credited to have made humans out of clay. And this has drawn many comparisons with other mythologies such as the Greek and Sumerian. In Sumerian you have Enki, who supposedly made humans to be the servants of gods, and he made them out of clay and blood, right? In Greek mythology you have Prometheus, molded men out of water and earth. He used clay to make humans. So it's funny how all these different mythologies, where they are separately different in cultures, okay, and in people, and in timeline and geographically, they're all talking about humans coming out of clay, which I find very, very interesting. So in this myth, she is the one who initiates the creation process. So Nuwa, the reason she creates humans is because she was very lonely. Because after Pangu died, the earth was empty. It was it wasn't full of life. So she decided to create creatures out of mud to keep her company. Because she's a goddess, alright? She can do whatever she wants. From the beginning, she started molding humans out of clay using her hands. But after some time, her hands became to hurt. So she took a rope, dipped it into mud, and swung it around her head. As a result, blobs of sticky mud were formed around her. This is where the mass production of humans came from. And then from there, she told the humans to go out and reproduce. When researching about this myth and creation story, I came across another familiar thing, and that is Noah is often depicted to having a serpent tail. And throughout creation, I've always come across this serpent character, if you will. It is said that Enki, the Sumerian lord of the earth, is a serpent god. You have parallels with the Bible. In Genesis, you have the snake who deceived Eve, supposedly. So that's what I want to point towards, this serpent, right? What is it about these serpents that are so important to these ancients? Is it to do with the esoteric interpretation of snakes and the Kundalini energy that I touched on in my previous video? In Gnosticism, you have the demiurge, Yarabeoth. He also is depicted having a serpent tail and the head of a lion. Is it like what Manly Piho said in his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages? The serpent is the symbol and prototype of the universal saviour, who redeems the world by giving creation the knowledge of itself and the realization of good and evil. So, thanks for watching. As always, make sure you like, subscribe and share. Comment down any thoughts you have or any ideas, theories or anything. Till next time guys. Peace.